And we are live on a Tuesday night, end of March, getting into spring. Beautiful day. Kurt Valenti, Jennifer Valenti, all in on high school sports.
Good evening.
I'm going to stop this right out of the gate with the shirts because Kenny's getting. I swear to God. What did I say? We were going to have an all-in shirt and a K&K shirt.
We did.
And we go to sit down, and what happens?
We forgot.
So, you know what? But I will be the bigger person. I will take the hit because we have a little promo of what we were going to show. But I will promise. I am promising the K&K shirt is on tomorrow night. Promise. But we really did have the all-in and the K&K shirt to show. Because before we get going tonight, go ahead, Hoops. This is all you.
Our friend Coach Breslin at DMK Apparel for all of your sports apparel needs, embroidering, screen printing, accessories, shirts. I mean, anything. And I can't say it enough. Easy to work with, great products, and just all around. You know, it's been a pleasure, and the products have been great. So. DMK Apparel, check them out if you're looking for something. You got your sports season coming up. You can do online orders. Anything will suit your needs for what you need.
Absolutely. And again, our K&K shirts just came in. They are for sale. We're going to have some all-in shirts for sale eventually. Kenny's saying, Coach, I can't wear mine yet. I don't have mine yet. He said, thanks so much. We're only kidding, Kurt. And I know, but you know what? We did. So what's going on our show tonight?
Well, tonight we're going to be welcoming Coach Daniel Farina from the Becton High School Wrestling Program, and he will be joined by one of his female senior wrestlers, a very decorated athlete, Izabella Frezzo. So we're excited to have them on the show this evening.
Back-to-back. Most outstanding wrestler.
Yep, and champion at the Bergen County Girls Invitational.
Absolutely. So we'll be ready. We're definitely excited to talk a little wrestling tonight. Maybe I'll get some pointers because maybe you and I are going to have like a wrestling match. So you won't last 6 seconds. You'll be pinned instantly.
Okay. Yeah.
But besides that, we got, it's March. It's March Madness, but spring is here. Beautiful days, like we said. Sis was commenting saying no Bama shirt on this set. But we're gonna get into it before we talk some Becton wrestling. We want to get into a couple little. We're gonna get into some new topics, like a little debate. But before that, we want to but talk about what we're gonna debut in the upcoming weeks. Do you want to handle that?
Sure. We would like to add some segments periodically to our show. We have both been fortunate enough to be coached by what we're calling, coaching legends. So we would definitely like to feature some. So those coaching legends who we've been fortunate enough, you're going to be on our hit list. We'll be hitting you up to feature you on the show. However, if you we love to feature, again, we like to give a voice to programs, athletes, coaches. So if there's somebody, we have all our social media links on the bottom of the screen. So please, if there's a coach that that is not, someone that we could reach out to directly, please forward the idea along. We would love to feature them as well.
Yeah, and what we want to do is have the coach, the former coach, we're calling him the legend coach, maybe get some former players to come on. Maybe, a former athletic director, administrator, and just, give those people their due and see kind of what they're doing now.
Right,
and go
which
back
actually,
until, I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say leads us into the other segment we would like to do is the where are they now? Some other decorated high school athletes or teams, championship teams from the past, kind of, again, relive those days, see what they're up to now, exactly like you said before. And again, it's a lot of the programs we've had on always pay their due diligence to who came before them, and it's nice to, see what those people have done in the sport and remember that and kind of honor them in that way as well. So,
we can't have Coach Breslin on again because he's still technically a coach. So he's he's a legend. But we're going retired legends, But and then also courtesy of our great friend Mr. Kirkpatrick, co-host of the K&K Sports Show, saying, "Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the greatest high school sports show on earth." Coach Breslin also saying, "What's up, everyone? Looking forward to another good show." He usually gives us the Kenny 5, like his rank 5. So tonight, we're not only going to just rank his 5, we're going to open it to the audience throughout the night. And he went off a little. He said he's not up to date with the whole winter sports season. So that's okay. That's okay, Mr. Kirkpatrick.
He switched it up a little bit.
He switched it up. And his question tonight, we'll ask our coach, Izabella, Coach Farina, but for our audience also, listen, Gatorade's a big thing. You have it on the field, you have it off the field, practice. So we're asking, Mr. Kirkpatrick wants to know, what is your favorite Gatorade flavor? Give me your top 5. All right, so rank your 5. Do you have your 5 right now?
I'm going to be honest. I am so old school with Gatorade that I am struggling to get 5. I can give you my top 3.
Okay.
Number 3 is the, I don't even know. I guess it's Fruit Punch, the red one. I'm going old school.
It is.
And then my second one is the Lemon Lime. That's the yellow one, right?
Yep.
And then my hand.
No, Lemon Lime is green.
Oh, what's the yellow one then? It's not lemon. It's not lemon.
I'm
it's
not
something,
sure.
But the yellow one, so we'll just go with yellow. And
Okay.
then my top hands down favorite that I would get above those don't even pale in comparison, is orange.
Okay.
So if I had to go with like 5, I'd have to get into like a blue raspberry or like, and that ice one. Yeah, but I don't even know. That's the sad thing. Orange all the way.
My 5 is going to be, this is one I haven't seen this in probably 10 years possibly. There was a flavored called lemon ice at one point.
Okay.
It was a Gatorade lemon ice. So that's going to be my number 5. Number 4, Fruit Punch. Number 3, Lemon Lime. Number 2 is orange. And number 1 is my Glacier Freeze, the blue, all time. I remember at like St. Mary's, we would come off and have the Gatorade, always get the cup, watch film, drink it. It wasn't good because it was, watch the weight, but still. Kenny's saying lemon lime, Glacier Cherry, Fruit Punch, orange, and Glacier Freeze. So Glacier Freeze is my number 1. So that's for the interactive tonight. We'll go through that a little bit.
To drop their favorite, even if it's just one, absolutely let us know the Gatorade flavor.
So what we're going to do next is we got a couple, before we get into the wrestling, we have a couple topics. And when we're saying topics, we basically said, how has high school sports changed now for the present and what possibly in the future?
Was the perfect segue tonight because our featured guest is a female wrestler, and in the past couple of years, female wrestling at the high school level has I'm going to use the word kind of exploded a little bit because I feel like it was maybe there was 1 or 2 girls wrestling, wrestling against boys. There was maybe 1 or 2 here or there. Now, fast forward just in a few short years, and we have their own tournaments. There was the Bergen County tournament. They have their own division in the state tournament now as well. I have friends who have young wrestlers, and they say the girls division at these clubs, like of the young girls, is just, the numbers are insane. So, will there be solely varsity girls teams at the high school level in the future, rather than just, again, like a couple of girls on the team,
Right.
So
Coach Breslin saying he likes the blue kind. That's the Glacier Freeze.
Nice.
Purple, I believe, grape, red, orange, and green. Coach Breslin is saying for the future, streaming. Everyone will want this no matter what moving forward.
Yeah. Great
point. We mentioned it a couple weeks ago. Yeah. I think it's just an awesome idea. I mean, whether you're busy, whether you're older, you don't want to be out in the cold. I watched numerous games this year where people were streaming it on Facebook, streaming it on YouTube. Coach Breslin does an awesome job at Hawthorne. I watched the Garfield Hawthorne football game while we were doing a K&K show one night, or whatever we were doing. We're watching the Garfield Hawthorne game. And that's just an awesome feature. It brings it to another level of, hey, did you see that game? Yeah, you did see that game. I love when it was always the state championship finals and they're at MetLife and you can purchase the games and you can watch, the Ramapo Wayne Hills game and whatever. I remember watching Lyndhurst and Cedar Grove a couple years ago. They also did that with my sister Jody, who was coaching at Immaculate Conception, where they had the tournament of the TOC games on, you were able to stream that stuff. So,
well, even from, and you're noticing at all age levels now that's happening. Like you said, there's people who are just doing it on Facebook Live while they're there. You have people setting up a camera and doing a Zoom link for people who can't make it due to COVID restrictions. The other nice part is if you do belong to a streaming service and you have a subscription, you can watch it live, of course, but if you're unable to see it at that time, you can go back and watch it. So, you have that flexibility of not having to go to the game if you can't get there, watching it from the comfort of your home, and of course watching it on your own time if you want to see someone play. So there's really, that is a great point of where we're going in the future.
So just a couple of ones that we're saying like that have happened or in the works or that have presently changed. Okay, we mentioned it again. Girls wrestling their own state tournament bracket. Awesome. Like you said, it has exploded. It gives them, hey, here's your boys bracket, and now girls, you have your own bracket. It's exciting. We'll ask Izabella. She finished third last year. We'll get into that. And, to have your own bracket to, like you said, to not only just say, okay, now there's a girls wrestling, here's your bracket. You're down in ACU, experience this stuff. So that's awesome. Number 2, girls flag football league that's starting. I believe it was 6 or 8 teams this year are starting. What's your thoughts on that?
Again, anything that provides these kids an opportunity to play something that they're passionate about or, develops a passion or an interest in them, I think is a great thing. So I think that's fantastic. And it's more, and, our first 2 examples happen to be like girls sports, but, it is beyond that. You were saying some of the football changes were, the ability, if you have the technology for
instant replay. And I wish Coach Breslin can comment in and just give me a little, but I do know there have been, there are some games. I don't know if it's everybody. I'm not 100% sure, but I do know there's been games where they've gone and you could check. I believe there was like iPad set up and they can go back and check an instant replay, which, hey, instant replay has all the major sports on the college level, on the pro level.
Right.
It's a big thing. It changes. Listen, referees aren't perfect. They're going to miss calls. So to go back and to get something that's right.
What game did we just watch? I can't remember if it was professional. I can't remember if it was the Knicks or if it was during March Madness, where the referees actually, and again, I'm not saying that they missed 2 calls, but they went back to the replay. It was about possession in a close game. Those things matter. But it was two back-to-back key possessions at the end of a close game. So the instant replay factor is interesting. You see a lot of those things start professional, filter down to college, and then ultimately end in high school. So,
Coach Breslin saying we have huddle sideline. Yes, both teams have to have the technology in order to do it.
Interesting.
And the next one, which is the big one, which again is what they're starting to do in Jersey, and we've heard it, with other states, is a true state champion in football. So you always hear people say, okay, Texas does it, they do it, blah 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 blah. Jersey's got so many sectional champions, so that's something that in the near future is going to change. They're looking forward to changing that.
Well, I happen to coach and play 2 sports that are still, not that every sport isn't constantly evolving, but the rules changes are really dramatically changing the sport. I'm going to date myself a little bit here. When I played lacrosse when I first started, there were no boundaries. Natural boundaries. So let's picture a high school field that has a track around it, right? There wasn't a hard line. Like you didn't step out when I first started playing. If you got near a natural change, you were called back in, and you kept possession of the ball. They just wheeled you back in. You didn't even lose possession of the ball. Right. So add hard boundaries, and you could pack everybody down into the scoring area. You could take your whole team down there. So some changes were the hard boundaries and what was called a restraining line, which made it like a 7v7, which are huge changes when you think about playing that game. Another change for lacrosse that could come down the pike which is at the collegiate level, and there's always talk of it coming to high school, is a shot clock in lacrosse, which of course is something in basketball.
Yes.
High school could be a major change that could be coming. That's constantly in discussion as well, I would say. Yes.
One more that is presently happening is the NJIC in football, and we've seen Becton. They won it last year, but they have, which is awesome, how they have the conference, they take the conference winners and they do it kind of like an SEC ACC championship style. They play, I think they take the 4 with division winners, they play a semifinal game, and then they play a final. I think that's awesome. You know, like you look at college football, championship weekend, Big 10 championship, Big 12 championship. You know, can more conferences somehow do that, where you're playing one side and another, and then you play for the, you know, the true, I would love Coach Breslin's opinion on that, where you have, you know, in your division, you know, do you just run it through and, hey, we're the best team, or do you say who's 1 and 2, play them in a championship, or what this side, and play it that way? Coach Breslin saying, Jenny, do you think a shot clock in lacrosse could increase chance of getting teams beat with a higher score?
Yeah, well, you know what, Coach Breslin, that is a really good point, because especially in high school, unfortunately, yes, because you're not going to be able to stall. You know, you would for the, I believe it is a 90-second shot clock in women's lacrosse. So you would have a minute and a half. But yeah, you know, I don't know. It could go, I mean, do you just turn the ball over, you know, rather than score? I mean, I don't know. It would be a tough thing. It would really, we would stall for minutes at a time, you know, to take time off the clock when we were up by a lot. So no, that's a good question. It creates that possible dilemma for sure. Absolutely.
I think basketball, I think it has to happen. I really do. I just think, you know, you get to so many games where you watch some teams and they're just holding the ball for 3 and 4 minutes and like stalling, and it's just, it takes away from the game. I mean, it really does. I mean, you know, we're watching an NCAA tournament. You know, a game could be up by 4 points and the game's over. I mean, it's got to be quick-paced action. That's something I think they have to do that ASAP. Do it soon.
I don't know. I feel like it is not having the shot clock, and when you are, again, I've been on both sides. The team that needs to stall because we're up by a lot, and I've been the team that's been overmatched. And I will tell you, one of the most exciting victories of my career was over a top state ranked opponent. We were unranked, and we called it Operation Moo because we milked the clock and we held the ball. I'll tell you, we won in a close and you know what? Hey, come out and pressure me. You have
Kenny's
a better
saying,
team.
hey, Kurt, me. Jen sounds like Tony Bennett. You know what? I mean, listen. We could talk about this. I just think that that's not the sport. You know, it's not the sport.
That's interesting because why is that not the sport? It's a game of possession. It's a game of possession.
But I'm saying you have to shoot.
We possess the ball.
But you have to shoot in a certain time.
But if it was a close game, you would say, like, and they're going to sit back in a zone, and I'm in man-to-man in basketball, or I'm outside, they're going to sit back in a zone, I have the lead, I'm going to hold the ball at half court, come out and play me.
Right,
you know,
but that's like saying...
It's a chess match.
Right, but that's like saying, okay, so my basketball team I'm loaded offensively, I could score, I'm, you know... whatever. I go with me. So hold on.
I call it a coaching.
Okay,
move
but let me
let me
give you the equivalent to that. So let me give you the equivalent to that. At some point, that your team has to play defense and you have to defend me. That's like in football where, listen, the other team's offense is sick. It's awesome. It's very hard. I mean, our offense just can't stay on the field for the whole game. We have to run plays. We either score or punt, and now our defense has to stop them. That's
you're comparing apples and oranges. That's specific to that sport. You're absolutely right. In my sport, listen, it's hard to maintain possession. You know, you in the sport of lacrosse, you're constantly double teaming. You can check. You can, you know, there's body contact. There's so yeah, the pressure was on that other team to take us out of that stall. I'm saying
more basketball,
and they didn't. Well, we're talking about all sports, though. I was specific in the sport that I spoke about was lacrosse. So,
but getting into Coach Breslin saying it does give teams an advantage if they can hold the ball for an extended period of time. If they are limited but have the ability to hold the ball, it can help. To change that, the other team should press and play tight man D.
Right, exactly. Coach Breslin, my game strategy was to possess the ball, right? If they don't have it, they can't score. It's that simple. Possessing the ball for that long is not easy either, number one. Number two, now I put the onus on that coach to change up her game plan and press us to get the ball back. And you know what? We had to still defend. You know, it's a 100-yard
Can I play
field.
devil's advocate? Because you say what you just said.
She had to.
No. Your goal, what you wanted to do was, your game plan was, you just said,
possess the ball.
Okay. In football, you want to possess the ball, right?
Yeah.
So how do you possess the
Again,
ball?
yours
Wait.
is a
You
little bit
run.
different.
Wait, but you
can't-
run the ball.
You have an end
Hey,
goal.
no, right. But I'm saying But in reality, though, possessing the ball is 4 yards, 5 yards, first downs. Keep the clock running. First downs. But if you don't get a first down, you're
Again,
punting that ball. You
understood.
can't just go and say, I can't say I want the
Understood.
ball for. I got to do
Again,
something for 12 minutes.
I'm going to say the same exact thing that I said to you earlier. That is specific to that sport. That's all. I'm not saying that it works in every
We're
sport.
gonna argue over this for good.
I'm giving you a specific example of a sport that I coached and played, and that was a strategy that I employed when I felt that we were severely overmatched, and it worked.
Kenny, asked Tony Bennett what happened Saturday. They're still figuring out versus Ohio.
No,
But
well,
let's
you
get
know
into
what?
that
That's
again.
okay because they still got the championship banner hanging up
They
in
do.
the
They do.
arena. So
Kenny's
all good.
saying, I can't believe I agree with Kurt, but if you're down, changing your offense on the spot comes back and it hurts you more than helps you. Okay, but so let me get one more thing. He does agree with me. That's a weird.
Again,
it's going to be a weird night.
I'm not specific. That's specific to football. We have this conversation all the time that a lot of our experiences are different and how we would handle things because they're specific to our sports. I understand that it would be different in football. I understand that you have a lack of ability to understand.
No, but
that
it's
it could be
but it's in
different
any
lacrosse.
sport. It's in any
No,
sport.
but it's
It's
strategic.
like softball. Like, hey, okay, I got to
but
get up.
it's
I got to
not.
score runs. At some point,
it's-
I have to go and play defense.
But it's different.
It's just
no. See that basketball and lacrosse are very simple. Like ice hockey, where you're able to like possess and move the ball around, and the other team has to force you to turn it over. Like there's no one-on-one. Like in football, you have to go down the field. You can't go around the back. In lacrosse, like we can actually pass around the perimeter of the field. Like it's very different. The possession, even though the goal is to possess and have more possession
Right.
time, the actual act of possessing the ball is different.
But I guess my point of possessing the ball, I understand, but I'm saying in basketball, it's just absolutely ridiculous when somebody's just holding a ball for 3 minutes without putting up a shot.
I'm going to say this.
That is ridiculous.
I'm going to say this to our audience, and Kenny and Coach Breslin, you will both appreciate this comment. That when we've had this, because we've had this discussion before on several occasions, right? Would you agree we've had this discussion before? Yes. Right. And you have said things like, well, I game planned all week. Well, yeah. And that's my job as the coach against you, is to make you uncomfortable in your game plan. I'm working against your game plan, and that's what coaching is. And again, that I'm gonna have an answer.
Carl Ross, if this was PTI on ESPN, you two would have run out of time with this topic. But great point, Coach. But getting back to this though, okay? Here's one more thing I came up with because
this is not even how we meant the
no.
conversation
But
to go.
before March Madness, right? Before March Madness, and there's a bunch of coaches listening, okay? You have conference tournaments, right? In football, like I said, the NJIC does it awesome, just like college football does it. Is it possible in high school basketball, can you do a conference tournament right before a state tournament? A 3-day thing. It's a tournament action. You might have some teams who, hey, I have no shot of going to a state playoff, but I'm going to be in a tournament action. I might be able to win now the Patriot division. I might be able to win this division. Can you do that in basketball, or is it way too much?
That's my only thing is, what are you sacrificing in order to do it? I don't know. I kind of like how it's done in high school right now, with where your conference play, is important. The time factor, like what would you have to give up to incorporate that, which is, we always talk about that in football, the time, the scheduling is so tough.
Right.
The wear and tear on the kids, it's a long basketball season,
And then my last one would be potentially, could they ever do something where, like an NCAA tournament, like a March Madness, where it's like, hey, right now you have the Bergen County tournament, Jamboree, you have the Passaic County, the Morris County. Then you have your, this is the group 3. Could they ever have it where, I know there's a tournament of champions with the champions, but could they ever look into something where it's like the whole jersey's open, they're going to rank them 1 to 64. I mean, just throwing it out there.
I mean, I suppose that's really what they do, because they do have a tournament of champions. They just do it rather than north, south, east, west, and midwest, and south.
Right, but I'm saying, could they do
Group 1,
that?
Group 2, Group 3, Group 4. I mean, in essence, aren't they already doing that?
I would love to see a conference tournament. I just think that would be so awesome. Like, here's your NJIC, whatever, boom. You have it. Now, the thing is, what if you win that, what do you do? Like, where does that just say, like, hey, you've had
Right.
Georgetown wins the Big East, they're going to the
right.
Are they going now to a playoff? Are they in the playoffs because of that?
I think that's
that would
a
be
little
the
hard
thing.
to mimic in high school, but
Kenny's saying maybe an NIT style tournament, Kurt, for the teams not in the state.
Coach
The
Breslin
biggest
makes a
issue
good
would
point.
be the travel
Yep,
for schools.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
I'm in a bubble.
Yeah.
Everyone else is in a bubble.
All right. Well, we do have our guests from Becton.
All right, so let's us stop talking and bring our more important
let's hear
people
what
in
the
tonight.
people really want to hear.
Right.
That was a good topic, though.
That was a good topic.
Yeah, very good topic.
And Coach Breslin, of course, is always all over it.
All right, we have our guests with us this evening. I would like to welcome from Becton High School Wrestling, head coach Daniel Farina, his second year at the helm of the program. Hi, Coach. How are you?
How's it going, everybody?
Good.
Hey, Coach.
And he brings with him his senior wrestler, Izabella Frezzo, a highly decorated wrestler. Isabella, allow me to tell the audience a little bit about you. I'm sure I'm going to leave something out. She was the 2020 North Jersey Girls Wrestler of the Year. She is the two-time Bergen County Girls Wrestling Invitational champion and the tournament's most outstanding player. Last year, as a junior, she took second in the region and third in states, as well as being a highly competitive martial arts in jiu-jitsu. Next year, she will be attending, if I'm not mistaken, Isabella's recently been determined, right? New Jersey City University. Is that correct? Did I get those correct?
Yes.
All right. Well, welcome to both of you. Thanks so much for coming on tonight.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming on, and we're lucky you just came on because we were getting in a heated debate about some high school sport topics. A wrestling match almost started here, so we're lucky you guys came in. But
I'm all for the four corners myself. For staying up the clock.
You were listening. All right.
There you go.
Taking it old school. Yeah.
There you go. A couple of comments real quick before I get going with you guys. Tommy Mulligan, Coach Mulligan, is saying Coach Farina, giving a shout out. Coach Breslin is saying, hi, Coach Farina, keep up the great work. Coach Breslin is also saying congratulations to Izabella. Becton Football is saying, so proud, yay, Izzy, you too, Farina. So thank you, Becton Football, for watching.
Nice. Very nice.
And thank you guys again for coming on. So, Coach, I'll start with you. Can you just give us a little overview of this year's wrestling team at Becton?
Well, right now we got a very young team, very inexperienced team. Because of COVID, we lost some kids who were obviously nervous about coming out in light of a pandemic. And this year, the group that has come out, we have a small core of about 13 kids. But since February 1st, we've been doing Zoom workouts, and all the way up until now, the enthusiasm of those 13 kids that have stuck it out has been nothing short of amazing to watch. And they're getting at it in the room. They're focused. They're enthusiastic, and they're all buying into what we're trying to sell over there at Becton Regional right now, which is, we want to be a team that's known for, even if we're not the most talented, you're going to leave the gym knowing that you were pushed to the brink and you were worked hard. And that's what I try to preach to the kids every single day that they're in the room.
Coach, we're getting a comment from a Tom Nieves or Neves. I'm not sure how to say the
name.
Neves. Just saying, Coach Farina, keep it up. Kenny Kirkpatrick, our great friend from Maryland. Great job, Coach, and congratulations, Isabella.
Nice. My question, Isabella, is for you. I was wondering if you could share with us a little bit about your experience starting at a young age in martial arts and then competing in jiu-jitsu, and then what eventually led you to kind of getting involved in wrestling as well.
Yeah, so when I was really small, obviously I had started my martial arts career at a young age, and I feel like that was really uncommon, especially even just having young kids start in martial arts is really uncommon, but especially for a girl. And then as I got older, like for me, it wasn't anything different. That was just normal for me. And as I got older, I mostly transitioned into wrestling to help my jiu-jitsu. And then now I'm using my wrestling for the rest of my life because I'm going into, use it in college and going to college to wrestle. So that's how it's kind of all transitioned into together.
How did you get started in jiu-jitsu? If I read correctly, it was like you were like 2 or 3 years old. Am I right about that?
Yeah, so I had started boxing with my dad at home because he wanted to teach me self-defense, and I had taken a strong liking to it, and he really loved working with me, just, at home for fun, and just, it was good for self-defense purposes. And then I had moved on to some street fighting, like at a little tiny gym right around the block from my house. And then at 7.5, I started jiu-jitsu because my chiropractor had recommended it, and ever since then, I've just haven't been stopped.
And with your wrestling, you started that in middle school, is that correct?
Yeah, I started that in 8th grade.
And was it, just share with the audience if you don't mind. We were talking earlier about, how female wrestling has kind of, and I use the word exploded, because there was maybe like a few girls competing, and now you guys have, your own, state tournament bracket. So what was it like? Were you competing with the boys? What led you to be interested in it? Would you mind sharing that with us?
So when I had first started wrestling, there was only a few girls tournaments, and it was kind of shoved in between in the boys state qualifiers. So it was a little bit, it wasn't really out there. A lot of girls didn't register in those brackets, and it was a really small thing. And, over the last about 2 years honestly, it has exploded. I wouldn't take that word out because it has exploded. You see the numbers rising like dramatically, and it's crazy because I never thought that wrestling would for girls get so big so quickly, but it really has, and it's really cool to see, especially at my age. And it's just I never expected that, but here we are, and girls are just taking over. So it's really cool to see.
That's great.
Awesome. Couple more comments. This is a comment from Twitter, just with the handle Wildcat, saying so proud of Izzy. Then we then have Coach Longo saying one of the most impressive athletes to ever walk the halls of Becton. And I'm not talking about Farina. Congrats and continued success, Izzy. Farina is all right, too. And Coach Coyne, the great Coach Coyne, saying, Coach Farina, can I get a T-shirt? So
definitely have to try to get him one. Yeah, he's a big fan of the free T-shirts.
I know. My question is going back to Izabella. You're now the back-to-back most outstanding wrestler. I'm going to get this tournament done because there's so many words in this one. But back-to-back Bergen County Women's Coaches Association Girls Wrestling Invitational. I couldn't even get the words on the screen, but you're now the back-to-back most outstanding wrestler. What can you credit all that success to?
Honestly, I'm going to credit that success to my jiu-jitsu coach, Fiona Watson, who is now the assistant coach at Becton, because I've been with her since I was 9. And I'm also going to credit David Cordoba, who I've been working with for the past about 3 years now. And I've been going to his club wrestling for the last 2 years really consistently. And I've been putting a lot of time over there. And that's how my wrestling really grew and got better from there. And of course, all the wrestlers at Becton and Coach Farina, who obviously, if I wasn't at Becton training every single day, then I wouldn't be where I am, because that's how I'm able to do these tournaments. So without them, obviously, I wouldn't be where I am either.
Very nice. Coach, the Becton wrestling program boasts several, has a rich tradition, several district and league titles back in the early 2000s, most recently. How do you impress, you mentioned you have a very young squad. How do you impress this history upon, the younger players in your program?
I think we were just talking about, the pride that it is to be a Wildcat wrestler every day. I mean, even when I was younger, I used to coach the rec team, and I just always talked about, this is a school that's been in existence for 50 years, and for all 50 years, it's been a wrestling team. And if you go into the gym, there's only 2 other sports that have 2 banners worth of championships, and that's obviously football and the bowling team. Got to give a shout out to Mark Caprio, legendary bowling coach from Becton Regional High School. But no, when you look at those banners and you look at the years and the time invested and you think about the work that previous coaches put in to make this program what it is and the wrestlers that have come through this program, we take pride in being I like to say, a tough guy school. And, football, wrestling, they're two sports that are intermingled with each other. And I think if you can impress upon the kids that, this is more than just a program that you are part of now, but has a rich history going back 50 years. Some great names, Nick Hughes, Rich Vartan, Mike Settembrino, that have been head coaches in this program. I'm humbled to be part of it. And I try to talk about that from time to time to the kids themselves. And the way I coach is built on that tradition as well.
Very nice.
Okay, I'm going to go back, Coach. I'm going to stay with you.
Okay.
As Jen said before, high school wrestling for girls has grown tremendously the past couple of years. Where do you see it actually going from here? I mean, how much more can it explode? What's your thoughts as a high school coach and what you've just seen where the girls portion of wrestling has gone, and where do you think it can go?
When you look at the numbers over a 1 year period from the first state championship to the second year, and you look at the first year that they had the girls states, there were about 200 and change competing for spots in Atlantic City, and a year later that number is over 400. I think exploding is the only word to describe it. If you go to parts of South Jersey and West Jersey, they're already having conference tournaments with girls teams exclusively. At the BCWA, it was an invitational, so there were schools from all over New Jersey that were entering it. Lakewood High School rolled up with an entire squad. It looked like it was a squad that was even bigger than our team. And I think that's the future of New Jersey wrestling. I think we're going to see more girls divisions. I think you're going to start to see girls divisions competing for team state titles at the dual meet level. And, the tournament itself is starting to expand, even with COVID now. The way they're going to be doing regions, they're going to have two 8-person North region, Southern region, and top 4 are going to go to the states. And last year it was only top 3 that would go to the states. So 6 girls were going. Now it's going to be 8. I think you're eventually going to see a brackets of 12 to 16 girls within the next 10 years.
Awesome. So, Coach, so now is there any schools in Jersey at all that are strictly like a girls wrestling team, or there's no teams that are like that right now?
You mean they have only girls wrestling, no boys wrestling, or
yeah, or they're separate? Is there anybody like that right now in Jersey?
Yeah,
or no?
Lakewood, I just mentioned. Jackson has a team. Jackson Memorial has a team, if I'm not mistaken. You're looking mainly in southern New Jersey. It's actually been more popular. Shore Conference, to be exact. Actually, as I said, has a conference tournament that they competed. So it's already starting to happen. It's not as big yet in Bergen County, but give it time.
Okay.
And with co-ops, you never know. I mean, co-ops have opened up some doors too. Even if you look at Lodi and Immaculate Conception have co-opted for this season. I know it's because of COVID, but you might start seeing more teams co-oping to create full squads and make it more competitive.
Nice. Isabella, I think of you as a trailblazer for girls who are getting into wrestling. I work with a lot of women, not a lot, but some women who have sons who are wrestlers, and one has little ones in elementary school, and she's constantly telling me that at their club out in Buxton, like the number of girls that at the elementary school age that are wrestling is like insane, right? And I think that for them to see, I hope that I can share this clip and get some younger girls to see it, because I think for them to see an athlete like you would just inspire them. So my question to you is, if you had the opportunity to give advice to a young girl who wants to get into wrestling, what would you tell her?
I've had this question asked so many times, and honestly, the best advice I could give is just do it and don't listen to what anybody has to say. If you really want to do it and you really want to try it, don't let anyone stop you, because there's always going to be people that have something to say, or they're going to tell you it's a bad idea or it's for boys, and just do it. Like, if that's what you want to do, and that's something that you want to set your mind to, it's a great challenge. It's something that, not a lot of people want to step up to the plate and do. So if young girls are saying they want to do it, they really should just do it and not care what anybody thinks about it.
Great advice.
Awesome. Isabella, I'll come back to you. Now we get to the state tournament. You were third, correct, last year in the States?
Yes.
Okay. We know last year it ended a little controversial in the semis. So what are you looking forward to this year in the state tournament? And just what's your overall thoughts of, what you want to do in this year's tournament?
I want to wrestle my match and I just want to get it done. And I'm really excited for this year because it's my last year and I want to showcase everything that I'm capable of doing. And I want to end my senior season with a bang. And, I really want that title. So I'm coming hungry this year. I really am.
Awesome. Now, when does that start?
April 10th.
So we have the regions on April 3rd and the state tournament on April 10th.
April 10th. Okay.
Actually, that's a perfect segue because, Coach, I wanted you to speak to us a little bit about some of the changes and, things this year, a little shortened season, coaches getting creative and wrestling outside matches, kind of a modified state championship format, right? Only individuals, no teams. Could you speak to us a little bit about some of those topics?
Yeah, so what they're going to be going to this year is they started March 1st with practice. For a month, we were in Zoom practices. I had the kids coming on to Zoom meetings, and we were doing Zoom workouts. And then practice started in room March 1st. We had 2 weeks of practice straight, and then the season started. But what's been happening is because of some cases that have occurred here and there, matches have been canceled. So you have to reschedule and you have to scramble. And some days, you think you're wrestling tomorrow and you're not. And sometimes you think you're wrestling in an hour and you're not. And what ends up happening is we have to constantly be on our toes to find out what's going to be happening next. In terms of the postseason, what they're going to be going towards is actually a type of super regional where instead of having 8 regions and the top 4 from each go to Atlantic City, making a state tournament of 32 competitors per weight class, they're now going to have 2 regions combined each. So instead of 8, they're going to have 4 super regions. And it's going to be basically like Section 1, Section 2, Section 3, Section 4, or Central, South, whatever you want to call it. Top 4 from each of those super regions is going to go to the state tournament all the way out in the I would call it one of the meccas of New Jersey wrestling, Phillipsburg High School. And the boys tournament's going to be 2 weeks after the girls tournament is wrestled. And they're going to have the girls tournament at Phillipsburg as well. But instead of the usual district, regional, state placement, you take top 3 in the districts, you go to the regions, you take top 4 in the regions, you go to states. They're actually going to have selection committees created, and it's going to be based on this season's performance of athletes and what they did in the previous season. That's going to have a lot of bearing on their selection. Okay. So, it's more of a combination of figure skating meets wrestling because you're going to have judges determining who's the top 16 or top 8. But it's the best solution in a very trying time. I mean, you look at other sports. I even told Izabella the other day, you're competing for a county title. Nobody else has had this opportunity in any other sport. And,
right.
You look at other sports in New Jersey, there haven't been any opportunities for teams to compete for state titles. And here we are talking about a state tournament in 3 weeks. I mean, if you would have told me that almost a year ago, I would have looked at you like you had 7 heads. That's the truth. And, it's a testament to the NJSIAA's willingness to take a chance and give these athletes an opportunity to do something which is the ultimate goal of high school wrestling, which is an individual championship.
Great. Thank you for that. That was very, very informative. All right, our next part, we're going to go into a little rapid fire, we call it. So it's some more fun, quick questions for you guys. You ready to start it off?
Yes, I am. I just want to give me 1 second. All right, my first one for both you guys is in the Carlstadt, East Rutherford area. We'll call it the Becton section. By the way, this show is and I didn't even, Coach and Isabel, I swear I didn't do this. I just realized I got a Becton color shirt on. Look at this. And I swear to God I didn't do it. I didn't.
By the way, you got to add Maywood in there too now.
Okay, yeah, that's true. We got to put Maywood in there.
All right, so expand the area.
All right, so you know what? All right, so we'll expand it. So I'm going to go Carlstadt, East Rutherford, Maywood.
Okay.
Each of you guys, give me a pizza spot and an ice cream place that we could go to.
Coach, why don't you go first? Then Isabella, you can go second.
All right. Ice cream spot. The only place I really remember is Cake and Cone. It used to be the old Carvel and it became Cake and Cone. Pizza. Got to go with, if you want a nice thin slice, you got to go Park Tavern. The Italiano family's been owning it for years. And then Mr. Pizza, Ralph's. If you can tell, I like food, so any one of those pizza joints will do. I would say all three of those is like the big three.
All right, what about you, Isabella? Pizza place in any of those areas and an ice cream spot?
I would say Ralph's is the go-to because it's right near Becton and it's right near my jiu-jitsu gym, and Cake and Cone because it's also right near Becton and right near my jiu-jitsu gym. So they're go-tos because they're right there.
There you go.
Nice. All right. Who would you guys say for each of you is your role model or inspiration? Coach, you can answer it as an athlete or as a coach. You've been, around some great coaches, and or as a player, whichever you prefer, Coach.
Who are you talking about?
You're first. You're first, Coach. Yep.
Okay. All right. Got it. All right. Definitely got to go with Carl Ross from football. Was my coach from 12 to senior year of high school. Wrestling. Dave Farrell, my coach growing up, Jimmy Murphy, another coach growing up, and somebody who you may have heard of before, Nunzio Campanelli. He was my wrestling coach sophomore year of high school at Paramus Catholic. You got a guy who's now who can say he was the head coach of Rutgers football. Mm-hmm. You don't get many mentors better than that. And I forgot Vito Campanelli as well.
Very nice. How about you, Isabella?
I'm going to go with Fiona Watson on this one. I've been by her side for the last 8 years, and honestly, I wouldn't be where I am today without her. So honestly, she's the only inspiration and mentor that I look up to every single day. And yeah.
Nice.
Coach, you're getting yelled at by the Becton football Twitter account saying they only asked for one pizza place, Farina. Hey, but we don't care. We'll take three. We'll take three, Coach. We don't care about that. We need all the places we need.
It's like he knew his audience. That's all right.
Yeah. Depends on what part of East Rutherford you're at.
That's it. All right, Coach, give me your best Becton athletic moment.
Oh, my gosh. Probably beating Hasbrook Heights this past year to win the division at their place on October 30th. Defeating them to win a division title is always, as good as it gets. It kind of started. I mean, we had a great season as a staff, so I would have to go with that one.
Carl Ross is chiming in saying there is 7 days in a week for Coach and pizza. That's Coach. I'm with you too, Coach Farina, because to ask Jen, I could do pizza 7 days too.
Yeah.
And what about you, Isabella? Your best Becton athletic moment?
Man. Honestly, probably winning third in the States because in the last match, the third place match, it was a rematch from the regions where I think I had lost by 1 or 2 points in the region finals, and I had come back and won like 11-2. So it was really great to end the season with a win and take third.
Nice. All right, my question for you guys is describe your pregame routine. Do you have any rituals? Is there something you do have to make sure you do? Coach, we're going to start with you.
I pace endlessly and bite my nails. And that's basically it. I mean, you can tell Isabella, like even at the tournament the other day, she's hanging out, all calm as a cucumber, and I'm getting my steps in, pacing left and right. So that's about it. I pace, freak out, and hope for the best.
How about you, Isabella?
I probably go to the bathroom about 15 times before the match, and then I'm usually bouncing around for about 10 minutes, just standing there, getting ready to go, warming up, and trying to look as calm as possible, but really nervous on the inside. But I mean, everyone says I do a good job on looking pretty calm and collected on the outside. So.
There you go. Okay, my last one, Coach. You answer this as a coach and Isabella as an athlete. Your biggest fan or supporter, Coach?
My wife and my mom.
Okay, Isabella.
My parents.
Very nice. All right, and our last rapid. Oh no, we're gonna get our bonus question in there.
We got a question for Thomas from Thomas McGuire. Would love to know how long Coach Farina's end of practice talks take. Izabella, do you want to answer that one on air?
She's got a watch going.
Oh, I think the reaction says
That's
it all. All right. The last official question. The most used emoji or meme on your phone.
Me?
Yeah, Coach.
Anything with the little yellow face, whatever face is needed at that time. Laughing tears is usually a big one, or the one with the smiling, looking like the robot teeth one, making some random comment. Other than that, whatever the mood fits at that moment.
How about you, Izabella?
The laughy face emoji with the tears coming out of the eyes.
Nice, very nice.
And Becton football just put it out.
Oh, there we go. Nice, perfect.
They just put that out.
That was like on cue.
On cue. I don't know if they're answering now or no, or they're actually about to talk.
To somebody else, exactly. Yeah. That was good. Should we ask about the...
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead, you do the...
And we had an interactive question where Kenny Kirkpatrick from Maryland, who he always gives us like a rank 5 for us to rank. So tonight he gave us a little different one off of high school sports. He gave us our top 5, or if we can rank our top 5 Gatorades that we have had in the past. So if you guys are Gatorade fans, if you can just rank what flavor Gatorade you guys like, Coach.
I have 3. I don't have 5, but if I had to add 2 other drinks, I'll go water, coffee. Actually, coffee's at the top, but then in between the 2, I would go lemon, lime, orange, fruit punch.
And what about you?
I would say red, and then the white, and then blue, and then lemon lime, which is like the yellow green, and then the pinkish one.
See, I had to actually look them up because I didn't know the colors either. So when I wrote red, blue, green, and I had to see what flavors they were because I had no idea what flavors.
Nobody ever says them in flavors.
No, I know. It's the color, right?
That's why orange is perfect.
That's it.
It's orange and it's orange. Well, Coach and Izabella, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It was an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. Best of luck to you this season. I know it's just gotten underway, and hopefully everything kind of stays on track and smooth, and you guys are competing into that April state tournament. So thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to join us.
Wait, Coach, real quick. Carl Ross is saying Coach Farina is being humble, guys. 2 great moments for him as a player and a leader was winning recreational Super Bowl and starting a 48-game winning streak and being part of the best defense Becton had in the early 2000s that started 3 division championships in a row.
Oh, very nice. Good little shout out there.
Thanks. Thank you.
And Izabella, you're gonna be our first. You're gonna be our first, because Kenny Kirkpatrick, who's my host, our other host on our other sports show, is saying that we want to give you the first. We don't have an All In on High School shirt, but we have a K&K Sports Show shirt, and he said you're the first one that we're gonna give away. So you're gonna be. We will send you out a T-shirt of the K&K Sports Show, which is like the brother or sister show of All In on High School Sports. So Becton football saying great job, guys. Way to represent Becton. Good luck, Izzy. Coach Breslin, great job. Best of luck to you, to both of you, for the rest of your season.
Exactly. Thanks so much, guys.
So
We really appreciate.
Good luck. We're gonna follow you, and
Thank
after
you very much.
win, we want to have you back on.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to catch up with you again for sure.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Have a good night, guys. Thanks again.
You too.
Take care.
Bye.
Thomas McGuire saying Becton has a lot of firsts on this show. It does.
It's true.
It
Very true.
is.
Very true. Yep.
Start calling All In on Becton Sports.
We were big.
No, listen, we love covering Becton. We love
followers in
covering everyone,
football,
but
yeah.
especially Becton. All the coaches are great. The athletes are great. All the football players are great. Izabella was great. We appreciate them coming on.
But it's so nice to see, in addition to just Coach Farina and Izabella being great guests and speaking about their program, is the support from the other coaches and
Yes.
teams and the high school in general. It's so nice to see. That is what high school sports is all about. It's so nice to see those kids be supported. Great support system for that program and for the players. So that's really
and you
really
know what?
nice to see.
You asked her a great question about being like a pioneer. You know, like it hasn't even hit yet. Like when it's years later on,
Right,
and it goes
exactly.
back. You know, and it's like, man, like look what she did. Like you know,
Yeah.
for the program and for the sport, it's gonna be. You know, like it's
Like,
really
she's-
gonna hit.
She's living it now,
Right.
You know, so but like you're saying, when she's a little older and has the the ability to look back, exactly.
Right,
she'll-
like there's like you're saying, how many people are gonna, like I want to be like her. You know, I'm trying to say,
right.
see what she's doing, the success and all that, and she's a role model for the younger kids. They're gonna want to be like her.
Well, I said this earlier about the the young club girls stuff exploding, and I follow a Montville youth sports page on Facebook, and there's a young girl wrestler recently. I know I shared the post with you, who was the first female wrestler in their program in about 20 years, and it's so exciting to see, but she gave the great advice, like follow your passion and don't listen to what anybody says, and if it's something you love to do, do it. So I think that's fantastic.
Coach Longo saying, great interview by you guys. Thanks so much for always supporting Becton. It means a lot to us. We forgot the Becton helmet tonight.
Oh, this
we
would have
forgot
been
the
perfect
Becton helmet.
to put it out. I know.
And not next week, but in 2 weeks, we debut the green screen.
No, well, hopefully. Let's
Oh,
we gotta
no.
mess with it.
We're
we gotta
debuting that
check
green
it out.
screen.
We gotta make sure
Coach
that we
President
get it
on
right.
call.
Yeah.
But no, great. Again, thank you guys, Becton, Coach Farina, Izabella. Thank you for getting a little heated debate tonight. It was great. That'll probably be part 2. Will probably be in 10 minutes. So we'll finish it. We'll finish it off air. We'll let you guys know how it works
like we
out.
invited the audience into our dinner
I would have
conversation.
to. That's every night. I mean, come on. That's what's different. It's every night. It's just so it's live with a couple other people. What's the big deal? But no, great job again. We definitely want to have her back on. Follow her. And again, we want to congratulate her going to the next level also.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
And that was it. Thank
Hard
you,
work
Coach
is
Farina, again for coming on. And until next week.
Yep. Thank you for watching, everyone. We'll see you next week.